Okay, I'm recording this short video to show off this system that I just created. So, I've been working on this for a few days now, and first I'm going to show you the mock-up of this. So, this is in Figma, which is just like a way to like mock up UI designs. This doesn't have any functionality to it and is in no way linked to Unity. It just looks a little bit nicer here, so it's easier to explain. So, the idea is that you have a frame, and for this frame you have different slots, right? And in these slots, you can drag in different augments that you find, and they'll attach to your frame. So you could drag in a laser claw, and that would like shoot lasers every once in a while automatically off of your shoulder. You can then find modifiers in game that actually modify the augments that are in the slot. So I could drag this legendary one into here, and that would allow the laser claw to destroy structures. I could drag this ability haste one into there, and it would make it activate more frequently, have a shorter cooldown. And that's the idea for that. Now, the idea too is that you can level up each individual slot, and when you level it up, it has more modifier slots available. And this isn't like a finalized what it's going to look like. It just looks a little bit nicer than what's actually functioning in Unity right now. So I wanted to show you this first so it made more sense. So if I go back into Unity and open the actual thing that's functioning right now, you can see it's a lot more ugly. But it's the same idea, right? We have our frame, the list of different augments that you can actually drag in, and then a modifiers list. So I also have this game manager here, which does a lot of different things, but on this it has what's called the augment manager, and this is what it's actually listening to in game when you load in. So you can see here the right shoulder has a slot name, and then available augments. So the right shoulder can only take in a flamethrower, ice blaster, or cluster grenades. If you were to try to drag in like a laser beam into this, it would not work. It only takes these three. It then shows the currently equipped augment, which I can just assign in here if I wanted to, but I'm going to leave it as none. And that will be the current one that is equipped, and then it also shows the active modifiers. So I'm going to just leave this one open and turn this off and load in and actually kind of show you what's happening here. So if I were to open up this menu here, pulls this up, we can see here right now that there's no equipped augment. But let's say I try to drag in a flamethrower. That's one of the ones that you can put in here. I know right now there's no like visual representation for like which can go in which slots, but that's something I'll worry about later. Right now I care about functionality. So if I were to drag in the flamethrower to here, you can see now the equipped augment is a flamethrower, which is really cool. Now it has no active modifiers, but if I were to drag in this one, we can see now that it can do fire damage. And you'll see if I click this and drag it off of there, there's no active modifiers anymore. It cleared that list. But if I let go on the background, it'll just snap back and re-equip it, which took a little bit to get working because it hates me. But I can also grab it and drag it back into this list here. Anything I just drag onto a background will snap back to where it previously was, whether it was in the list or in a slot like that, which is really cool. So let's see, I could drag this crit chance one in and then level this up some more. Now there's 4 slots available, so I can put more modifiers in these slots. And you can see I could click and drag and just remove the poison individually. And right now the max level each can go to is 6. Now, it also won't let me equip one on top of it if there's already one on there. So this could also take an ice blast, but if I try to drag it on there, it'll just snap back to here because it's not allowed to go on there, which is really cool. So to see this in action, I'm going to just unequip these modifiers here. Let's say I just want the right arm, and you can see in here the right arm can take a chainsaw or a saw blades. So if I were to drag the chainsaw onto here, and then close out of this menu, and actually go into the game here, so load into a planet. I know it looks horrible right now. Everything, all visuals will change, basically. But if I actually, don't mind the Doctor Who placeholder, if I actually were to launch now, you can see I have the chainsaw on my right arm. Now, right now, the chainsaw, if you look really closely, is just a fucking block. But it will be a chainsaw that does really cool things. Also, I just realized the laser beam is going off while it's not activated. Oops, that's a bug I need to fix, but that's okay. But the chainsaw is active and nothing else. Well, quote unquote, nothing else once I fix that bug that I just noticed. So anyway, that's the idea of this frame menu manager, and it actually works pretty well. So under this, just how this is constructed, I have my augments list here, and inside the content here, I have these different augments on them, which each have this augment class, and all this really is it has its augment type that you can define here, and then whatever slot it's currently equipped under, it will assign the name to that, just so it knows which it's under, and it can read that later. And then in the modifier list, it works very similarly. Each modifier has the modifier class on it, and that just defines what the modifier type is. Each container, so we have this right shoulder container here, has this augment container script, which also has like which augments can be dragged into it. It also has a list of all of the modifier containers that exist under it, so there's different little slots that you can drag in, the current container level, and then the text that displays it, as well as a name. And that is the gist of how it works. There's a lot going on, more going on the back end, but yeah, it's functioning pretty well. So my next step is going to be fix any bugs, obviously make the UI not look, shit, and then actually apply the modifier effects as well, because right now the modifier effects aren't doing anything or affecting the weapons. And then after that, make it so you can actually, within the game, find these different augments randomly, find these different modifiers throughout, and then when you come back to your ship after visiting a planet, they'll be here. You can drag them, assign them, all that stuff. And then after that, I'll probably get into making it so you can merge certain modifiers together. And that is the current goal right now. But I'm pretty happy with where the system is at, and it's working quite well. So I thought I'd just show it.